The construction of an idea is the framework to everything else you do within the realms of creativity or even business for that matter. Just as important as the execution of the plan is the steps that you take to get there. But it's something that a lot of people blow over. But I promise you, if you take the time to nurture an idea the way it deserves, not only will it make the process of creating much more enjoyable for you, but also set you up for success much better. Today we're talking pre-production, how to construct a plan, how to execute a plan, and how to go about that plan the best way to set you up for success. To do anything the right way, you have to have a solid plan going into it. Sometimes amazing things come about from the spur of the moment. But for the most part, having a solid foundation before you begin anything is a key to success in any field that you may be in. Planning ahead allows your mind to be cleared, which in turn allows for more creativity. If your mind doesn't have to worry about the little mundane things, it allows it more space to think freely and creatively. But the process of planning things out really is just about finding what works for you. And I promise you, taking the time to plan things out makes the process so much more gratifying and fulfilling and overall enjoyable. So step one is conceptualization. I have what are called mind maps in here, and then I have rough outlines that I then transfer to my computer as the official outline for the video. But I'll explain that in just a second. And by the way, what we're talking about here doesn't just apply to filmmaking or YouTube creation. It can apply to literally anything, even down to writing an essay for a class. This is the same sort of idea. This is how I do my blog posts, how I do my videos. The birth of an idea really comes from something that I call one-sentence concepts. And most of the time for me, it ends up being the title of the video. For instance, this video's one-sentence concept was how to construct an idea. What I'll have in my notes is an entire list of the one-sentence concepts that I can then refer to and choose to write a video about for that week. So then after you have your concept decided on, that's when you do what I call the mind map. I like the mind map because you literally just throw all of your ideas onto paper without really worrying about anything, and then you can pick and choose what you want to keep, what you want to take out. So for instance, this is the mind map for this video. So I have my one sentence concept in the middle, and then I'll kind of have these broader topics that I'll then expand upon. So for instance, I had conceptualization. That's step one. That's what we're in right now. And then I want to expand upon these. And that's my idea for conceptualization. This is a good visual of my brain when I have an idea. It's just all over the place. It's sporadic. I have a lot of things I want to touch upon. And so getting it all on here like this in kind of a rough, messy outline, it's perfect. You really do need to write anything in this stage. You can't be afraid. It's just about anything that comes to your mind. Even if it seems silly, just write it down because you never know. You might want to hear it later. What may seem silly to you now may not seem silly to you later. What may seem good to you now may not seem good to you later. It's really just about getting all of your ideas on the paper and starting a little bit of a flow, so that way your mind can just get into the mindset of creating. There's a quote from David Allen that I like, and it's, "Your mind is for having ideas, not holding them." Our minds aren't banks. They're factories. Our minds are there to create the ideas and then transfer to something that can hold them. We're not meant to remember everything. That's why a mind map comes in handy sometimes too. It's just about getting everything out. And once you feel like you have everything out and you don't have anything else to write, then you probably know you're ready to move on to your next step. Unless of course, you only have like 2 things on here, maybe you should revisit. So I like putting my idea maps on the left side of the notebook because on the right side, I have my rough outlines. I'll take all these points here and I'll put them into a more organized layout on the right side. All of this is great, but it's not sustainable for creating a video because it's just a lot of words on a paper. We need to take these words on a paper and give them a structure. So that's where the outline comes into play. I do 2 versions of an outline. I do the rough outline and I do the official outline, but we'll get into the official outline in just a second. And as I'm transferring, I'm also giving the video a structure. So I have the opening statements that I want to make. I have the idea map. I have the rough outline portion that we're on right now. Important to note, there are no use of electronics yet. In my opinion, in the early stages of an idea, nothing's better than pen and paper. The action of writing itself is a creative process, and so it kind of gets your mind in this mindset to create. We're only using the computer once we're done with the rough outline and we're ready to finalize what we've written. Okay, so we're ready to finalize what we've written. So we're gonna take our rough outline and we're gonna transfer it over to our computer. I use Apple Notes. I like that. I have it on my computer and I can easily go on my phone. So if I'm on the go ever, I can just take out my phone and I have my whole script there for me. So at this point, you're really just transferring the information. But at the same time, you are making necessary cuts or additions. If we're talking YouTube here, some people choose to write a script. Some people choose to write an outline. I'm a fan of outlines. I used to write scripts, but reading things word for word, I don't think it mixed well with me. You don't really get to show a lot of personality, I feel like, when you're going word for word. For me, sometimes I would struggle with reading it out the way I would just say it in my normal voice. Whereas with an outline, I just have the things I want to mention and I kind of just go off from there. If you're looking for more personality to shine through, try outlines. And if you're looking for more of a serious structure that you don't want to stray away from, definitely do a script. So now that you've finally planned out your whole project, it's time to go and execute it. Just remember what I said. A solid plan is one of the most important things that you can do before you do anything, whether that's a business endeavor, a film, making a song, even running a marathon. And take it seriously too, it's really not just about the finished product. It's about the steps that you take to get there. If you're just thinking that it's the finished product, you're just thinking of the destination and you're not thinking of the journey. That sounds really cliche, but it's true. If you truly love what you're doing, then you're going to love every step of it. If you just want the end goal, it's not going to be a fulfilling process and it's going to be really hard for you to do anything. To me, over the last few years, I've been really learning that if you want to truly enjoy something that you're doing, you have to enjoy the process of it. The newest post is up on my website, so go check it out. We're going into this topic in a little bit more detail, and I'm actually writing out the step-by-step process of how I do it rather than a visual video. And there's some details on there that I don't disclose on here. So go check it out. See you next week.